Well, this is going to be, what episode is this? 34.
This will be episode 34. Yep.
Episode 34 of Who Thought We'd Be Here. Today we have a very special guest. It's going to be a two-part episode, so that'll be interesting for you guys to watch. Today we have my very, very special person, Desiree, with us. She is the owner and operator of Elixxr Cafe in Beacon. She also does hair and makeup, so you can book her for that, weddings and events. We're going to talk a lot about wellness and your wellness journey, and then JP has some questions later on.
I'm going to grill you too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
A little bit of a relationship episode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mix it up a little bit.
Something nice and light. Start off, you're going to do the honors of giving us a tincture?
Yeah.
Your specialty?
You got a little special potion for us over there?
Yeah, so I brought the Exalted Alchemy's flower essence blends, a few options for us. We sell them here at Elixxr. We've got Vitality. You can pick which one you want.
Okay.
Vitality, Trust, Peace of Mind, In Focus, and Inner Shimmer. Which one's calling to you?
What are you doing?
The first thing that spoke to me was I feel like I need the trust in my life. I'm going to take the trust one.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. What do we got here?
I'll do the Inner Focus.
In Focus or Inner Shimmer?
In Focus.
Okay, good one. I'm going to take some Inner Shimmer.
4 drops 4 times daily. Goddamn.
Yeah, just 4 little drops.
All right.
They're sweet, so they're yummy.
This is going to make me miss alcohol.
No, there's no alcohol in these. Some tinctures are made with alcohol, and other ones are made with glycerin, and this is the alcohol-free version.
This one is very tasty.
Yeah, they're yummy. 4 drops, not 4 droppers.
Thanks, Jess.
Yeah, thanks, Jess.
Yeah.
Energetically charged with clear quartz.
Yeah, so the
I
flower...
can taste the quartz, I think.
Flower essences, which we sell here along with the tinctures and elixirs, specifically from Jess, are more for emotional support versus physical support. So, when you take herbs that are infused or extracted from alcohol in a form and you're getting all the benefits, but these are more for emotional support, so to kind of work through kind of stuff that you're going through. So we've got a few options here. One of my favorites is burnt the fuck out. Because I definitely live that way sometimes, which is tough, but also being a wellness girl, I feel like it's something that I gotta work on more, is working too much.
Yeah.
But
it's all about balance, right?
yeah, all about balance. That's right.
Figuring it out. That's what we're always doing.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, it's such a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I got my 2 best friends.
I love it.
Yeah, right. This is
And being in the space.
I feel like I didn't even realize that now we're going to be facing people walking by.
Yeah, I'd say walk by. We are actually going. They're looking right at us.
Yeah, exactly.
We're
just
And the sun's
coming in
still
hot.
out.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I like it. I'll say that for the first time. I've been in here before, but now spending time in here, the space is incredible.
Yeah.
Even the bathroom.
Yeah, thank you.
Very
Thank
nice
you.
I judge people by their hand soap. You're good.
Thanks. Worked hard on that.
So for anybody that's listening and not watching the video, we are in Desiree's Cafe, right on Main Street in Beacon. What's the actual address?
304 Main Street.
There you go. And they're open Monday through Sunday, every day.
7 days a week.
Yep. And they only close at 4 on Tuesday and Wednesday, open till 6 every other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the hours.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nailed
I'm
it.
getting there.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
So let's just start at the beginning of your wellness journey. I've known you for 10 years now. We met at the waterfront. You worked at Billy Joe's and I was at River Grill.
Yeah.
So you were a bartender and now you live a very, very different life.
Yeah.
So-
No. I mean, I was a bartender for probably a little over 10 years. And I went from bartending in here, in New York, and then I went back and forth to Florida for a little while. So I actually moved to Florida when I was 21 and then moved back 1 year later just because I thought there was more opportunity in New York. And then I became a snowbird for 3 years back when I was 24, 20, or no, maybe I was 23 to 26, kind of before COVID. And then I probably stopped drinking, which I kind of led me to getting into wellness, which was maybe when I was like 26, 27 years old, and I just turned 33.
Were you still drinking when you were bartending? Or did you stop drinking?
I stopped while I was bartending.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was a...
Been there.
Yeah. That was a transition period, especially for the people that just like knew me. But I mean, in New York, I feel like any of the bars I worked at here, you didn't really drink like during shift. Well, at least I didn't. But in Florida, it was just like very casual to like take shots with your customers or whatever. So then it just kind of like, I think I would pretend for a while. And then just kind of like once I was more open about just this isn't aligned with what I'm going to do anymore. I think it takes a lot of like confidence and just like feeling in your power to like just say that you're not going to drink and then do it, and then people accept it more. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. That's just how I feel about becoming.
All three of us have been that person.
Yeah.
And like I'm brand new to the sobriety thing, but it's like we've all been that person who's just like, yeah, no, I'm gonna stop drinking, and your friend's like, okay. Yeah.
Well, that's what it is too. It's like a societal norm. It's like what you do. So I feel like when I stopped, it was like, well, like, do you still want to go out? I'm like, I'll go out. I'll go to the bars. Like, I'm very social. I feel like I'm pretty much the same, drinking or not. But drinking definitely gave me a lot of anxiety. And I feel like that was like, I've definitely had anxiety my whole life, but I feel like it really was triggered from alcohol. And then like next day after, would just like enhance it, and then realizing that like this doesn't serve me. I always told people, and I still feel like I do, like that I'm like allergic to alcohol. Like I feel like my body like rejects it, and like in other ways of just like sick, which I mean we all get sick because alcohol is a toxin. Like it's not good for us. But I think that for me personally, it just like no longer aligned with what I wanted, and then kind of like adapting more of just a holistic lifestyle. So then I started watching, you know, what I ate. I became vegetarian right after high school. So I was probably, I feel like that was like 14 years ago.
Would you say, going back to what you were talking about switching up your lifestyle, would you say that what got you to make the switch to not drinking? What brought that upon you? Because you said that kind of leaned more into you getting onto this wellness path.
I think just regretting like decisions I was making, like maybe acting a certain way or thinking I'm acting a certain way or being anxious about it. And then the next day, just like, that's all I could think about, and like overwhelmingly like just anxiety over it. So I feel like it just like my nervous system just like spiked. Mm-hmm. So I feel like kind of once I like really realized like this could be the problem and this could be something that I just no longer need, is when I kind of was just like, all right, let me try it. And then I stopped drinking for, you know, a month and 2 months. And then 6 months, I had not had any alcohol at all. And then I like decided that I didn't want to like label myself, like have a label, like I have to be sober. I can't like touch alcohol. So then and I feel like this was like before like the sober curious movement too. Like I feel like back then was really when wellness started becoming more popular and trendy, which is great. But what if I want like a fresh cocktail, like something that tastes good? Like where, you know, in the past, like I just used to drink for like to just like get a buzz or like feel something, or like, you know, everyone's going out, we're all drinking, we're getting drunk. But then it kind of just, then I was like, well, what if I just go and just have like a drink for like just the fresh cocktail point of it, or a good glass of wine. I always loved like an Irish coffee or an espresso martini. So like just having like one of those every once in a while, and then I would maybe have like a drink and then go another like month or so without drinking. But then I don't know, at some point I feel like that happened for a couple of years, and then maybe I got drunk like twice in like maybe a year, like 2 years ago, and just realized like there's no need for this in my life at all. And I mean, there's studies now that say that alcohol, like no amount of alcohol is actually safe or good for your brain. So I feel like being very mindful about what I put in my body, to each his own, like, of course, like I don't judge anyone, like everyone do what you want.
Everybody in this
you know,
room,
drink,
yeah,
like,
all, yeah, exactly.
drink, like whatever.
We've all more than touched the stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But just for me personally, like I feel so much better without it, and I don't find any need for it. And then I elevate and like elevate my mood in other ways, like through adaptogens and through, all these like tinctures and elixirs that we sell here and that I take at home like on a daily basis, like all my supplements and whatnot.
I feel like that's a good segue for you to talk about what you do right here and kind of like how did any point of the like adaptogens and the wellness like start to like maybe give you that same thing that you thought you were getting from alcohol but in a much healthier way, or was it like you found that out along the path further into it?
Yeah, I feel like it's crazy because I don't even remember like my first like cup of matcha or like when I started drinking matcha, but matcha is really kind of like was like my gateway thing to get me into.
I think it's a lot of people's gateway, right?
Yeah. And I guess how it started was just me making like a daily cup of matcha. Like that was my ritual. That was like my routine every morning. I would make a cup of matcha. I would put like 2 adaptogens in it. And if you guys aren't familiar, if anyone listening, adaptogens are basically herbs, mushrooms, flowers, roots that adapt to stressors in our lives to create more balance. So it kind of targets like whatever our body needs. Like if you're like stress and anxiety, maybe you'd want to take like the reishi mushroom or ashwagandha. Something that would be good for like energy is maca. So, there's tons of different adaptogens out there for just, anything you're feeling like you need. So that's kind of what we offer here too. But, so yeah, I would, every morning, cup of matcha, feeling what my body needs and just feeling good without needing, like a midday coffee or like something to pick me up, like in the day. Like, I feel like just, during that time is when I transitioned to like drinking more fresh juices, just like focusing on putting, nourishing foods in my body's whole foods, organic foods that weren't processed. And just the way it made me feel. Like, I feel like everything is just like, for me, been like through my body and how I feel. And I feel like I'm very connected to just like intuitively knowing or just like what feels good.
When did you start making that change to like noticing what your body needed and what you thought was best to be putting in it, and like what got you into that?
I struggled with a lot of like hormone issues and also like digestive problems my whole life. So I feel like one of the main things that got me into wellness was just like always having stomach problems. And then as a young girl, of course, like many of them out there, were put on birth control to regulate our hormones. And I suffered from acne, like really bad. And of course, like it was, it's just like more of like a self-conscious thing to have acne. And we can cover it with makeup, of course, but it's still just like, at the time, I didn't really, think about, well, this is like an imbalance somewhere in my body versus like, them just giving you birth control to kind of fix the problem. There's other medications out there that have a lot of side effects and that are, damaging to other parts of our organs, or, something like Accutane that's like really bad for, your organs. But for me, was put on birth control and was probably on it for like 10 years. Helped my acne, didn't have acne anymore. But then I guess like during whenever I just realized that like something switched and I don't want to be on this anymore. Like I want to heal myself naturally. I want to like know what's going on with my body. Like, so got off birth control. And then that year I only got my period 4 times, in the entire year. So, which is not healthy or normal for a female. We should be cycling every single month, regularly. And that's when I realized that like something's like off, and, trying out different gynecologists, and, they sometimes just want to put you right back on it just to regulate you. But for me, that's when I started cycle syncing, reading books that would help and just figure out what I can best do to like nourish the female body. Because there's not a ton of information that we're given at doctors' offices or whatnot. So it's kind of just like looking out for yourself and figuring out what works for you. So for me, cycle syncing really worked. And that's when you like eat foods, work out. You can use seed cycling is a thing too, where you're just basically nourishing the certain cycles that we're in as women. And that's like, menstrual cycle, luteal, follicular, ovulatory. So once I started doing that and cycle syncing, I got my period back every month, like normal, regular, and that I feel like for me, like realizing that like I did that holistically and naturally with the foods I was eating, what else can you kind of like regulate? And so then that kind of led to like, you know, my gut and like digestion and the stomach problems. Like, I mean, I did not eat good when I was in high school. Like I would eat ramen every single day, like 2 packets of ramen after school, like loved Pop-Tarts, toaster strudel, like all of these processed, you know, things that I wouldn't eat now. I mean, I love to make a gourmet ramen, but it's all with whole foods. So I do post that on my Instagram. You'll see me making ramen. But but it's definitely not the old packet kind.
Do you want to share for the people listening some of the foods that help with that you were just mentioning? Like is there other specific? No, for cycling. Or is it kind of like unique to each person?
Well, no, like there's definitely specific foods, like for example, like when women are on their menstrual cycle, like kale, like greens, like foods that are high in iron, and like pumpkin seeds, pumpkin, beets, like all these foods can really nourish you like during that cycle. Like men are pretty much like kind of just like chill like all the time. Like it's just like
fuck out it.
Yeah. Us women, we're like kind of all over the place throughout the month. So it's like there's, you know, even certain workouts, like we shouldn't be pushing ourselves too hard. Like, you know, we're in pain, we're bleeding. Like, so I feel like that really helped me kind of like get on like a routine too with it.
I'm learning so much. Yeah, no, really. It's like, I feel like right now you're trying to fit as much information and you're trying to make it as easy as possible for people to understand. I can just tell that this is like your passion.
Thank you.
Yeah. So then where do you stand in your wellness journey now versus like what brought you to it?
Adaptogens are huge for me. I incorporate adaptogens into my life every single day. So like I said, when I first started drinking matcha and having my daily cup, I still do the same, like 1 to 2 adaptogens in my matcha every morning. I still drink my matcha every day. I might not make it and sit down and meditate every day and journal like I did, especially during COVID. I just had so much time, as most of us did, being unemployed. So I was working out every day and just having like my morning being like on my routine. So I feel like how I live is I'm busy and I own the business and I'm on site doing hair and makeup, you know, almost, I mean, not every single day, but some days I work 7 days a week. And so it's really just figuring out like how to balance and incorporating like the supplements into my life. So sleep is huge for me. So I make sure I get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. There's definitely days where that doesn't happen, but I mean, I strive to get 7 to 9. That's when I know I feel my best. And then, you know, having my daily matcha really, I feel like just it's more like happy for me. It brings me joy and like I truly enjoy the beverage so much, and I know how good it is for you. If people aren't also familiar with matcha, it's a green tea, and it's stone ground into a powder. So it's you want to definitely be selective with the type of matcha that you drink. You'd want a ceremonial grade matcha, which we sell here at Elixxr by Matchaful.
Ceremonial grade. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Ceremonial grade. We're about to do peyote at the end of this episode. Do you have any ceremonial peyote?
No. No, I don't.
God, she does not carry psychedelics.
Yeah, no psychedelics, but we do have a lot of mushrooms here.
Yes, yeah. Oh,
so you can add mushrooms to your lattes, mushrooms to your matcha. But yeah, so matcha is green tea in its purest form, shade grown, stone ground into a powder, and it has 10 times the amount of antioxidants in 1 cup of green tea. So it's super high in antioxidants. It has an amino acid in it called L-theanine, which really gives you a nice, sustained, like chill, balanced energy versus coffee or espresso, which sometimes, you know, can have like a spike or then you could crash, a lot of high energy, and then, you know, it just depends on the person, the body. Like we also sell espresso based lattes here, and I also drink espresso and coffee sometimes, but that's kind of like a treat for me, where matcha is like my daily. But also it just depends on what I'm feeling that day. Like you know, I drink a lot of herbal teas also.
So talking about all the matcha and the adaptogens and the espresso based drinks that you have here at Elixxr, when you first came up with the idea to do something with all of your knowledge that you have of those drinks and things that are beneficial for people to be taking every day and help balance them out. What stemmed the idea for this? Like, you also this is your second location now. Like, you've already expanded and moved out into a storefront.
Mm-hmm.
So what was that whole experience like for you? What was it like taking something you were very passionate about and turning it into a business model?
It was always my dream to have a cafe. Like, ever since I even started drinking matcha, just making the recipes. You know, I did a lot of brand partnerships on Instagram, so just like creating for online content, and the feedback I would receive too was always so positive and great, and people love, like, you know, different recipes, and I loved giving them. I love creating, so I just always loved making the drinks just for myself. And then when the opportunity came up to be in the food hall, I actually was back and forth on it for like a year. Like, I think it kind of was just like, Marco had, you know, kind of been like, oh, do you want to, like, you know, you're into this stuff, you post about it, like, do you want to open something up? And I'm like, I was so all for it. And then I was like, oh, I don't know, like, kind of backed out a couple times. Really just because I work so much doing hair and makeup, and just realizing, like, I don't know how I'm going to make it work. Like, how am I going to open up a business and be there when I'm also booked on 80 plus weddings a year and production jobs and private clients? Like, I just didn't know how I would make it work. But I also knew that, like, I do want this. So, like, you know, going back and forth for, a year about it. And then finally I was just like, why not now? Just waiting for the time, waiting for the right location. Like, you know, I always wanted to be in a standalone space. So being in the food hall, I knew it was going to be, you know, in another space. I couldn't make it completely my own. So I just also was just hesitant about, you know, maybe not being open mornings. I know that was always available to me, but just not having like a whole cafe, I guess. But also, like, I didn't even know if I could afford a whole cafe, like, at that time too. So it was a great starting point because, you know, it's low overhead. And then, you know, I was just like, screw it. Like, I got to do this. Like, it's here, it's in front of me. Like, I'm going back and forth. It's still available. So, like, it's like, I got to go for it. Like, it's not permanent. Nothing's like permanent. If I decide at any point in time, like, this isn't working, like, I can, you know, pull out or not do it anymore. And before that, even, you know, when I was posting on Instagram or whatnot, so many people would reach out, local yoga studios, like, where can I get your matcha? Like, where, like, can you bottle it? Can we sell it at my my yoga studio? And I just, like, also didn't know how any of that worked. Or like, you should open up a cafe, you should open up a food truck. So it was always kind of in my mind. I was like, screw it, I'm gonna do it. Took me probably like 6 months. I think I opened January 7th of 2023 in the food hall, which is right around the corner, only a 30-second walk, which is awesome. It was, I just figured it out. I feel like at first everything worked out, like, with divine timing so perfectly, because January is my slower month when it comes to hair and makeup. So January, February, March, I had to, like, work the kinks out. And, like, knowing that it would be slower, like, most people don't open up a business in winter, like, on Main Street, just because it's tough, I think. So I've been told. But for me, it wasn't at first too. Like, we had a lot of traffic, you know, it was something new, something vibey, something trendy, something fun. Even though it wasn't my whole, you know, store, I designed the interior exactly how I, you know, envisioned the space to be, this is just like an extended version now of that, because, you know, I did the whole layout and the inside of it and curated it as, like, the apothecary that I'd want. For the first, I think, month, maybe I was doing it by myself, like, working there alone and just kind of figuring it out. I remember not being able to sleep some nights, or, like, waking up in the middle of the night and being like, wait, like, what if I'm busy? Like, how am I gonna make drinks? Like, I was a mixologist. Like, a barista. I was a barista, back when I was in, like, high school. Like, I worked at a coffee shop. I worked at Bank Square when it was Muddy Cup. Like, I worked at coffee shops, but I haven't worked at a coffee shop in a while. Like, I just make these drinks for myself, like, in the morning, like, in a very slow, like, chill, like ritualistic environment. And now I'm like, wait, I'm opening up a whole cafe. Like, we might be busy. Like, I got to be fast. So, and just thinking about the details, the cups, there was just so many things. When I opened, it was just me. And then I found help, maybe like the first and second month. I think maybe I had my first employee like close to the first month. Jade, shout out Jade. She was the first employee. She's still with me too. All my girls are still with me since I started in the food hall. The craziest thing too for me is that I've only, I think, closed like one time or two times in the year and almost 2 years that I've been open, while working full time, like doing hair and makeup. And that was just like the craziest thing. Like, how am I going to make this work when I'm so busy? And I am so blessed and grateful for my staff, because I mean, they're the ones that are the face of, you know, the brand and the cafe. I'm here when I can be, of course, but I mostly manage the back end of it. But yeah, so starting in the food hall, got my employees. We started to get, you know, busier during the summer, of course. So I opened in January. Definitely like it, I feel like the street has way more traffic in like June, like come summer. And then I noticed that this storefront was vacant, I think like April or May of last year. And I know that the way that, you know, Beacon storefronts get swiped right up. And I kind of just remember looking in here like late at night one day and trying to envision this could be my spot. Like I could do this like here. And it's small. I mean, we're a small cafe, but it's the perfect size for what I needed. Just like had, you know, envisioned it just as it is, because I don't have an interior designer. I created everything myself, visual wise. But I do have a contractor who is local and amazing. His name is John Menzie. And he did all of my woodwork in here. And he did an incredible job. And he also did the woodwork back when I was at the first location. So I do have some help, but most of it is all me. So when the space I saw the space and realized that maybe I can make this work. I don't know how, because that's like the busiest time of year for me, because, you know, we're in like the summer. How am I going to transition like going into October? October is one of my busiest months for hair and makeup. And I think that I talked to Marco maybe August of last year. So I locked in this location back in May, and I didn't open until November. So it was definitely a long period of figuring out when I could even put my energy into it, because it was a lot of work and I work full time. Like, it was just like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I just figured it out and kind of just like made it work anywhere and way that I could. So we shut down for 1 month in October, and then opened this space. I think it was like November 10th or 11th. It was, I think, the week before Thanksgiving. Then I opened this location, and now we're thriving.
We love to hear that.
I love it.
Mm-hmm,
We love it. My girls are so excited to be here every day. Like, I mean, it's a lot of gratitude and for the opportunity of opening up in the food hall, but having our own location and space and seats where people can, you know, sit down and like have that ritualistic just like moment, and just the energy of the space. Like, it just feels good to be here, like drinking your cup of cacao. Like, we always got some vibey music going on. The girls are so sweet behind the counter, very knowledgeable, and, you know, our adaptogens and everything we offer here. So, you know, there's some people that come in and they're like, I might be feeling under the weather or something, and then, you know, we can recommend, you know, what type of drink might be best to support their body or whatever they're feeling. So we have tons of caffeine-free drinks.
Why don't you start with the 3 drinks that we have in front of us right now?
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
So I'm drinking it was actually a seasonal drink last fall, which I'm thinking about maybe bringing it back because I've got fall drinks coming. But this is the adaptogenic chai. So it's our chai latte, which we have on the menu with an adaptogenic blend by Anima Mundi. Most of our herbs and adaptogens are from Anima Mundi. We use only high quality ingredients here. super clean, and no gums, fillers, additives, or chemicals.
No PFAS.
No PFAS. Our water's filtered. A lot of places water's not filtered.
Yeah, right.
Filter your water.
Yeah. So, yeah, our water's filtered. Any water that is for consumption. So I'm drinking the chai with the adaptogenic blend, and the adaptogenic blend is a blend basically of a bunch of mushrooms: lion's mane, maitake, reishi, chaga. So a bunch of different mushrooms, and also it has a little bit of cacao. Stephen is drinking the Pachamama latte, and that is my coffee alternative blend.
Delicious.
So it is caffeine free, but meant to taste like coffee. Like, it has a very coffee-esque flavor, but it might just have like more, rooty. It just tastes a little like rootier. And I mean, what would you say? You say it tastes like coffee, right?
It tastes like coffee with like a little bit of like chocolate, almost like mocha kind of.
That's got mucuna in it, which is an adaptogen known as the dopamine bean. So it's to give you like a dopamine boost.
Dopamine
and
bean. I like
yeah,
the sound of
it's,
that.
Yeah, it's a happy.
Dopamine.
It's like
Why
a
did I get a
happiness.
dopamine
Yeah.
bean, bro?
Sorry. That'll be your second
Yeah,
drink that you try at
yeah.
Elixxr.
For sure, yeah.
But you can also get mucuna in any of your drinks. So if you wanted to, next time you order Give Me a Golden Glow, you add mucuna. It's $1 extra for any adaptogen, and yeah.
She might give you a discount.
But yeah, so you're drinking the Pachamama latte. It has the herbal coffee alternative blend. So a lot of customers do come in here and ask, do you have something? You have caffeine free, like espresso, or do you have any caffeine free coffee? And we don't, but we have this coffee alternative. So we brew like a double shot basically of that. We use our oat milk made in house, mucuna. There is cinnamon in there, and then JP, you are drinking the Give Me a Golden Glow. You're glowing?
Do I look golden? I don't know. Do I? Tell me. I don't know. Be honest. Is it the lights or?
That is a turmeric-based latte, so it's like a golden milk, and it's my version of a golden milk latte. And we add some fun stuff in there, like cardamom and sarsaparilla. Great for like joint health and anti-inflammatory with the turmeric, of course. And it's also made with oat milk. But yeah, all of our milks are also made in-house, which is really cool.
And if you're looking for a milkman, you can buy milk here.
Yeah, you can buy.
Whatever happened to the milkman? Whatever happened to the milkman? We need milkmen back. That's what's wrong with this country. Anyway.
I always it's funny because even before I opened the cafe, I thought maybe I could just make nut milks and sell it, because I would make nut milk at home, and I'm like, we need this. We don't have any clean nut milks around. There's a few, but they're hard to find, or at least they were 6 years ago. I feel like things are more available now than they were 6 years ago. But yeah, we make milks. We sell them by the quart, and you can bring your glass back. Very sustainable for the environment, which we love. And you can get a refill for a discounted price. So it's $7 to get a milk, cashew, almond, or oat, and then you can bring your jug in and get a refill. And again, those are all the milks that we use in our drinks. We don't use any.
No milk from cows.
Oh yeah, that too. Also, we it's plant-based. We are completely plant-based here. We used to have Sweetie Pie's organic Pop-Tarts, which I love, and unfortunately, we don't carry them anymore on our regular Sundays like we used to, but we still do get them sometimes, and when she's available. But when they're here, those aren't. They're not vegan. So, they do have milk and cream or whatnot in the pastries. Everything on our menu is vegan except for the collagen. So we are, I don't advertise as a vegan cafe, but we are plant-based, and we have a collagen as an add-on. And that's also not something that's in any drink, on the menu. It's just an add-on. But yeah, we're completely plant-based here, and dairy-free, which, some people do come in asking for dairy milk or whole milk, and
you're like, get out.
No. We try to just let you know what's an alternative that might taste similar, which I think oat milk is the
I love
creamiest.
the oat milk. I can say that. I've been drinking that before we were dating.
Yeah. You were getting your oat milk every week at the at the food hall.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me about that. Yeah.
It was a good deal.
Yeah, it was a good
Regular
deal.
milk is $5 at the store. Why not get $5 homemade milk, you know?
Yeah.
It's true. And you would drink it with your mushroom coffee, right?
Yep.
I remember you used to post it.
Yeah. Moama mushrooms. Shout out to Ben.
If you had to pick one of the mushrooms, like the adaptogens, like, let's just play a fun game where you can only pick one. Which one would you pick?
See, it just depends on what I need.
That wasn't the question.
Like, well, right now.
What do you need the most often?
Okay, right now, lion's mane.
Okay.
It's good for memory. I feel like sometimes my memory
Solid.
isn't the best, so
Yeah.
I feel like that and focus. Like I feel like lion's mane is like something I sometimes go through stages of that too, where like I'll consistently take an adaptogen or a mushroom for a couple months and then decide like to switch it up or and some I just continue to take and add other stuff in. But I feel like I also take reishi a lot. It's more of a relaxing, just chill. So.
Isn't that life? You're just trying to decide if you want to if you want to relax or you want to focus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I feel like
balance, am I right?
Yeah, balance.
Balance.
I also feel like I need to relax a lot too because I'm always working. I'm always on. I'm always working with people. So doing hair and makeup. I'm always like physically like touching people, doing their hair, doing makeup. Like it's just a lot of energy exchange just in general. And being here too, like when I'm speaking to people, it's just like a lot of conversation and just like social battery, like completely always just talking. And so I feel like I really enjoy just like being able to chill and like being home and like relaxing and having a glass of tea or taking some tinctures.
So that's a good spot. What are some of your favorite things to do for yourself when you're having like a wellness day?
I love the spa.
Okay, yeah,
so
I know that.
I feel like my ideal wellness day would be going to the spa, like getting a massage. So if I'm going to a local spa or I have a great massage therapist right here in town, Honey Care Massage. Her name is Kit. Shout out to Kit. She's amazing. My friend Taylor opened up recently a wellness center in town. So I love to do an infrared sauna and cold plunge. You can also float. They have the sensory deprivation tanks. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Sensory.
I think you said it right.
Yeah.
Sensory deprivation.
Yeah, sensory deprivation
We're
tanks.
using a lot of big words today.
This episode is just
Just call this episode Big Words. Big Words with Desiree.
What was I saying?
You're talking about
the services that she offers. So the float tanks, sauna, cold plunge, and then the meditation bed, the meditation bed's probably one of my favorite things there. But I love to do the sauna and cold plunge. I also have a code. So for anyone listening that
we'll link it in the description.
Yeah, it's Desiree Leigh. It's my my name on Instagram and my just first and middle name. And you can get 30% off of any of the services as a first time customer or any of the packages or memberships.
And that's Kelta?
Yeah, Kelta.
Okay.
And it's probably like a 6-minute drive from here. So it's not right on Main Street, but very, very close by.
Yeah, you can get a matcha and then go do a cold plunge.
Yeah, you can get a matcha or a cacao and then go do your cold plunge.
Yep.
So yeah, I feel like going to Kelta, maybe like reading at the park if it's nice out, sitting in a hammock. I'll have that could be just like a very chill.
Big hammock person.
I love hammocks.
Yeah.
I do love to chill in a hammock.
On like that wellness day, like are you going to consume anything like additional from what you normally do? Whether it's like certain foods or it's supplements or...
I'm definitely drinking my matcha as I do every day. But also depending on the time, matcha does have caffeine in it. So, I try not to drink caffeine after like 4 or 5 p.m. unless I know I'm going out. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to have like my cup of matcha or maybe I'll have a cacao. Like I used to... this was even like during COVID, like I used to kind of make a cup of cacao, which is actually the cacao that we have on my menu board. The cosmic cacao is my OG recipe that I would kind of have my own like cacao ceremonies. I might, make my own blend and then go to the park and be there with my journal and a book and just like sip on my cacao and just like chill and relax, ground. So yeah, I'm definitely going to consume some bevs. I always have like 3 beverages on me at all times. Like that is like my thing. I show up to a wedding and I've got like my 3 Stanleys. Like I have like my filtered water. Like I've got my filtered water, like my matcha, maybe a fresh juice. I also have a juicer at home, so I very much juice. Those are the main ones. Maybe like shots. Mm-hmm. I'm always taking like a ginger turmeric shot or something too. Coconut water. So yeah, I feel like I'm always having like a lot of bevs.
You've mentioned a bunch of times the hair and makeup that you do on the side. So that started, how long have you been doing hair and makeup?
Since I graduated high school, so 2009.
So you've been doing that for a long time, and then you have the cafe. And with hair and makeup, you're on the go a lot. You're up early in the morning. You have a very busy, jam-packed schedule. Mm-hmm. How do you balance that? Just like going into that, what's your mindset when you're starting a weekend? Because the weekends are your busy time, Friday through Sunday. So how do you mentally prepare going into that? Have you just been doing it so long that it's easy now?
It's definitely like normal for me now. I do feel like when I first started doing weddings, especially, I would be so nervous like before a wedding, just because like that's not the type of job that you can call out or miss your alarm or not show up. Like it's, these are contracted events and someone's most important day of their life. So you got to make sure you wake up and like you're, feeling good. So I feel like when I was first doing maybe like a few weddings in a year, like I would actually like have anxiety over those few days, like when they're months out. But now it's just so normal for me. So I feel like, I do 80 weddings a year or more, like anywhere from 70 to 90 weddings a year. And the way I just prepare is just getting enough sleep for like, I have to be up sometimes at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and I don't wake up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. every day. So that's not a part of my morning routine. So just making sure that I get enough sleep, which, there's definitely, working weekends is tough because I do miss social events. I have to say no to a lot of things, which sometimes can suck. So yeah, just making sure I get enough sleep. I wear an Oura ring. I have for about 3 years. And I really feel like that holds me accountable to just like making sure I get enough sleep, or it kind of knows like when I'm sick before I'm even sick. So just making sure that I'm taking care of myself.
It kind of sounds like you do a lot of like preparation ahead of time, like getting enough sleep, making sure your schedule is clear, having things all your ducks in a row. And then in the midst of the chaos, then you feel okay because it's like, I planned for this. I'm ready for this.
Yeah. And I also, taking my supplements and my adaptogens and just, I still make time to make, maybe my cup of matcha that I'm going to bring, or like juicing in advance so that I have got my beverages for the day. Something that I recently that I've thought about starting to do is like bringing a cooler with me of foods. That's the one thing that is difficult sometimes is like I'm not very hungry right in the morning when I wake up. I feel like I do intermittent fast a little bit, but I know there's controversy on like whether it's healthy or not for you. But I don't have much of an appetite in the morning to have breakfast. Like immediately when I wake up, I've almost got to be up for like a couple hours before I get hungry. So sometimes I will go, if I'm working a wedding, a few hours without eating, but I might bring like a bar or something that's like going to hold me over, or, a smoothie in an insulated cup that I can have throughout the morning that kind of gets me still on like a structure of like meal planning. But I do, as far as like meals, I usually have like breakfast and dinner. Sometimes I skip lunch, or my breakfast is like a brunch because I'll eat closer to like 11. I don't have much balance, sorry. I just feel
That's what this is all about, though. It's about being vulnerable.
Well,
just like nothing is perfect, none of us have the perfect schedule that we want, I don't think.
Yeah, and it's just hard when my schedule's kind of all over the place sometimes. Like during the week, it might be more chill. Like that's when I'll go to my morning yoga if I can make it. Whereas like that's not something I can do on the weekends during busy season. But on my downtime, on my slower seasons, I'll definitely incorporate more structure. So I feel like that's just something that is difficult with my
Well, that's the balance right there. You balance it out in the time when you can balance it by stepping back and relaxing, because in the summer when you're busy with wedding season, you're just rushing around.
Yeah. And I feel like it doesn't always have to be perfect. Like you can kind of, like, it ebbs and flows. There's always going to be, like, there'll be days where maybe I didn't have a juice or whatnot, like, and it's not, I don't really have like something that like I have to do every single day. I think that main thing would be getting my sleep, like, which sleep is so important. And I feel like that's what makes me feel best, is like getting enough sleep and drinking enough water. Like some of like the best wellness like tips and things are free. They're just like things that are always available to us. And
very simple,
yeah, that are simple.
What would whether it's somebody who wants to like open up their own business, or maybe they're like busier than they'd like to be, and they're just trying to find balance in general between taking care of themselves and maybe building something, what's the advice that you would give to somebody who's in the middle of that right now, or who is struggling with that decision to like figure out what they're going to do next?
First, I would say probably like don't second guess it. Just like go for it. Because I feel like that's something that when I first was trying to decide, like, could I even make this work? And I just figured it out as I went. Like, I didn't really have like a structure, I had my business plan, I had my recipes, like I started creating a menu, but kind of just like easing into it. Like, I think not rushing something, because that way, like, even like I said, I had so much time from when I secured this space to opening, but I made it exactly what I wanted it to be, like how, like the exact like aesthetic, and just like for me, like the marketing side was important too, or like the branding. And if you're passionate about it, like for me, it's like, it's something that I love so much and I like love doing, like, so when you're passionate about something, I feel like you just will figure it out and make it happen. And that for me is like what like created this space. Like I truly love this stuff so much. I eat, sleep, and breathe it. This is like what I enjoy most, which is very well connected to the beauty world too. I absolutely love doing hair and makeup as well. Like, it's just so fun for me. And beauty starts within. So really just like nourishing the inside of your body and then feeling good. So I feel like in both my jobs too, I'm just like kind of helping and making people feel good inside and out, which I think is very rewarding.
Yeah, just kind of like going back to the reason why you did it versus the stress that you feel like in this present moment.
Yeah, and I think that's just like the passion behind it, and just like your, like how it'll fulfill you or whatnot. Maybe.
This is definitely the most informative podcast we've done.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna get
when
somebody.
Kilmer was on here, we just talked about The Rock.
Well, I feel like I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to sound too like.
No,
like
this is what you're here for. This is an episode where people get to know you and you get to inform them on what you know about, and that's what you're doing.
That's why people are going to listen.
What was the idea behind the brand? Because you are very, very into your aesthetic. Yeah. Where did all that come from?
I feel like just the creative side of me, just like making things beautiful. When I used to post, just my recipes on Instagram or have partnerships with certain supplements or matcha brands or whatnot, just like creating like in a pretty glass, like just like having like the visual of it, like it just is very eye-catching. And for me, I just like have so much joy in like making something beautiful. So I feel like it took me a while to think about a name, but then once I like had thought of, like, I think I had a list of maybe like 25 different names, but when I thought Elixxr, like it's just simple, easy, like and I spelled it a little funky because why not? And I think it really represents the cafe too, because an elixir basically is like an extract or blend or single ingredient of something that's going to nourish your body or mind, body, and soul. So we just like offer tons of different like elixirs and beverages here. And then I love pink, so our store is pink. And I just really wanted to bring almost like natural, organic, clean aesthetic meets like a funky, fun, trendy, Instagrammable, but there's so much little details in everything that we have here that I really enjoyed making and creating, you know, even just like our jars with the wood tops and our pink froth cups and our white espresso machine. Like I just really wanted everything to be like aesthetic and clean and beautiful, and fun, and just like fun to like work here, fun to be here, fun to hang out with your friends, take pictures, post on Instagram. And yeah, I feel like the aesthetic is all just like an extension of just like what like how I've like lived and wanted, like how my, you know, even my home, like I would always say the first location, especially like it's just like, this is like my kitchen. Like it's like literally just like my apothecary kitchen. Like it's just another like home or whatever that I've made.
I think that's what people want, especially from a place where they're going to consume something, is like a place that feels like home, where whoever's working here knows them, or there's just like, there's a certain type of vibe, whether it's the same person or not. Yeah, no, and
I've got a great group of girls that work here right now that are knowledgeable and can answer questions when people come in. We've got a whole apothecary selection as well, so we sell a lot of our herbs and adaptogens, mushrooms on the shelf. So we've got Jess's products that we've tried in the beginning, natural, local made skincare, hair care, supplements. We've got some ceramics, some other mushroom tinctures, Anima Mundi herbs and adaptogens, and the apothecary tinctures. We also sell our matcha here. So I source my matcha from Matchaful. They're based out of the city, but the matcha is from Japan, of course. And you can buy matcha here, hojicha, the whisks, all the things. If someone wants to come in and get a gift of just like a whole matcha setup, this is definitely your spot. And then, like I said, the girls can answer any of the questions too for customers.
Nice.
Me and him are so comfortable with the silence. Like,
it
doesn't bother us at all. We sit here. So
I just like lose my train of thought.
Yeah,
and then I'm like,
okay.
what am I talking about? I just promoted one of my girls that is working here, Talia. She is definitely here the most. Probably most of our customers get to see often. She's just such a bright light and energy in the space, and I love her to death. I've actually known Talia for many years. So she truly is just like such a sweetheart and like just a great person to be representing the brand and the face of Elixxr when I'm not.
I think we've been going for a little while now here.
Yeah, I think we could. Yeah. We could wrap part 1 of this episode.
Yeah, I mean,
unless there's anything else you want to say or promo.
No.
And you can always do it when we record the second part.
Yeah. So if we've learned anything from this, it's go out and try that thing that you're passionate about. You know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Try the thing you're passionate about. Maybe it'll inspire you once you have a beverage at Elixxr Cafe.
Yeah. Take care of yourself.
Exactly. I'm
Take
very
care of
inspired
yourself.
right
Nourish your body. You know, I feel like we feel best on whole foods, nourishing ingredients, and just kind of like a cleaner lifestyle, which I feel like is all a part of wellness. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and I do post some like tips and recipes and fun stuff on my Instagram page. So
that'll be linked in the bio of the episode, the description. You'll be able to find all of Desiree's stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have all the
Desiree
links
Leigh.
and codes and all the
Elixxr
stuff.
Cafe.
She's got mad promos. If you guys want to get basically everything 30% off.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's part 1
let's
your episode.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next week. Part 2.
All that glitters and gold. I had money, been broke. I've been high, I've been low. I done picked it, been whole. I done prayed it, been